Hello, here we are again. Time for another exciting version of Bntouch training. Today, we're going to talk about marketing basics. So, this is going to be a short one, hopefully, but it will cover for you what is a campaign, how to find campaigns that are in our content exchange that are already pre-built, ready for your use. We're going to talk about adding a campaign, adding steps to campaigns, making some edits, and also different ways of setting up your campaigns. We call them step options. So let's get going. Under your marketing tab, you're going to find that some companies have certain tabs at the top here. We're going to also be talking today about a Market Control Center tab. So not every company will have Market Control Center, I understand. Some people, you're going to have Campaigns tab, you won't have Market Control Center, you will have other tabs. You may or may not have the Content Exchange, but we are going to cover today the Content Exchange also. So quickly, what is a campaign? Okay, well a campaign is simply marketing. So we set up campaigns for you, some of which are already pre-built that you'll find that are already in your campaign library perhaps, or you'll need to go to the Content Exchange, which is a public library of campaigns that are pre-built for you. There's different types of campaigns, or different, let's just call them steps within your campaign. I'm going to show you as an example a new lead campaign. So the new lead campaign is a campaign that's been designed. It's on a template. That's what these little T's over here show, and that it's set up for automation. That means that it's going to automatically send out at the interval day for the record that you start on this campaign. So basically this campaign has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 emails, some of which go to your client or borrower, others are for yourself. So you're going to also find other campaigns that have different people that will be built for. So in this case, we only see 2, but you could see participant. It would be here with a P. There's other, methods. Participants don't always pertain to your listing or your buying agents. But anyway, so what we're going to, talk about today is how to edit a campaign and how to add steps. And then I'll also show you how to build a campaign from scratch. So this is a campaign that already exists. You can come in and you can preview the email. This is set up to be an email, and it's going to go out. It says, Dear John. Of course, that's just the preview, and it isn't intended to have a person's name on it right now because this is not sending out to a record. Just the preview is all that it is. So let me close a couple of other tabs here. I know I've got some other tabs open. Okay, so there's an email for the client and an email for yourself. As soon as you have a new lead, this sends you an email letting you know that you have a new lead. Well, sometimes you don't need that email. Sometimes you don't need call reminders. Sometimes you just want to delete those steps that are already built in the campaign. So all you do is come over and just click the little X. That deletes that step. You can also edit what is said in that email. So let's go in here to the one we previewed. And if you click on the little pencil, which is your edit button, you'll notice that it is the step is set up for your client. Now, if you had set it up for a lone participant, then these drop downs would become activated. But when it's a step for your client, then these two are not even activated, okay? Then this is going to be the subject line of the email that your person who you send it to, your record, will be seeing when it comes in to their inbox. You ask, why does it say pound pound company pound pound? Well, that's a meta tag. So throughout Bntouch, we're using meta tags, and those meta tags are personalizing your marketing pieces for the records that they are started for. So you're going to see down here the meta tag for your client's first name. Well, I only know that that's the meta tag for client first name because I've done this for a while. But you'll see up here in the editor many different things that you can do with your steps. And in this case, if you wanted to insert a meta tag or find a meta tag, you can click on that meta tag list and you can search for. You're going to see that there are tons and tons and tons of meta tags. So this is the one for your borrower first name, and that's the one we see down here. So throughout marketing, you're going to sometimes want to personalize for your record, oh, maybe an email address, or maybe a subject property address, or maybe the participant listing buying agents, names, birthdays, so all kind of things that you can actually add as a meta tag within your marketing piece. So in this case, you're going to see the client's first name. If you wanted to, what you could do is you could copy this step, and then you could make that step that's copied for your co-borrower, and then of course you'd want to change the meta tag. So think about doing that sometimes too, not only having an email that will go to your client or the borrower, but you can also personalize that for the co-borrower. So then you're seeing here meta tag for pound name, pound, and of course that's you. So throughout marketing, you're going to find that it's pulling from information under the Options tab in number 1 for your personal information, and throughout the records in your Bntouch CRM is where it's coming up with the other information. So scrolling underneath here, you'll see an estimated cost box. Of course, if your marketing is email, there's no cost, so you don't need to worry about that. And in this case, you've got different step options. We could set this up to be a task. We could set it up for being a campaign task, which means that it's going to just be a task, which would, instead of sending you an email, it will set up a task for you on your calendar and remind you that you have a task to complete. Some of the campaigns are already set up with tasks. You can also see that you can update a field, so maybe perhaps you might want to say at the end of a campaign that when this campaign ends, update, so that maybe it moves your record from being, oh, let's just say funded, to being long-term follow-up or something like that. So there's a lot of things you can do with setting up your different options for your campaign. So usually your marketing is going to be email. So you can also attach documents if you wanted to. And then this little checkbox must be checkmarked if you're going to use the email method and if you want it to be sent out automatically. So remembering that when your safe mode is on, it's going to trigger a campaign, but it's only going to hold that campaign in the pending campaigns area on your dashboard while safe mode's on. We want you to learn to turn your safe mode off. That helps you to where that the marketing is going to actually be sent out without you having to man your pending campaign section. So make sure if it's an email that you put the little check mark here. Some campaigns are going to be reoccurrent steps like your newsletter. So in that case, if you're building a reoccurrent type of a campaign, you want to make sure that you check mark the reoccurrent step. The interval is what's important to selecting when this step is going to be sent out or when it will happen if it's a task. So the interval is, you can have a drip campaign where it starts maybe with day 1, the minute that the record is started on that campaign, or it could be day 2, and then you'll have different intervals. So day 1 is the first day that the record is started on the campaign. Day 3 would be 2 days later, so it would be the 3rd day. Sometimes, though, you're going to want to, instead of having it set up with an interval, you're going to want to have an exact day and an exact time. So say, for instance, you were setting up a campaign that was a notification or an invite to an open house that you were going to have in your office. You'd want to send that out to everybody at a specific day and time. Maybe you have a recurring email that's going to go out every Friday to your realtors, so you would set that up to where it would go out at an exact hour. Okay, so that's how you use the different step methods in your Bntouch. It also talked a little bit about your editor, but if you'll notice, you can insert files, you can insert YouTube videos, you can insert links, you can make bold and italicize, change the font, so there's everything that you'll need in your editor. And then you do want to recognize that sometimes you're going to want to change your template. For the most part, you're going to be using the default template, but there are times when you're going to maybe perhaps create a template and make that template be the body of the email or the text. So just keep that in mind, that those are things you can do also. So I'm not going to update this. I just wanted to show you how updating or editing with the little edit, little pencil here, can change up the verbiage on the emails that have already been, or the campaigns that have already been built for you. So we were talking earlier about copying a step and setting that up for a co-borrower. Simply put a check mark beside the step you want to copy and click the Copy Step button. Or if you wanted to build in a brand new step, of course, you just click the Add New Step button. And when you do, then it asks you for the method. So you're probably going to select that to be an email. And then again, you go through who's it for. If it's for yourself, cool. Then just go ahead and put the subject line. If you want to use meta tags, click down in the text box first. Click on your insert meta tag, get that meta tag, copy it out, and then you can paste it up here to say, hey Bonnie, wanted to let you know about. You know, it's something that you can personalize so that in their inbox it looks a little more personal coming from you. Anyway, so that's how you would go about adding a step in a campaign. All right, and that talks a little bit about what is a campaign. We've talked about the methods, how to create a step, and then I'll also show you how you can actually build a campaign from scratch. So let's go back to our marketing tab. Simply click on Add Campaign. And when you do, then it's going to ask you to put that campaign into a specific group. So say we're going to build a new campaign for our funded clients. And you're going to name it Keeping in Touch with You. And then you might just put a little description. And then oftentimes you're going to use that same campaign name down here in the name visible. So if you wanted to utilize this, what this is for is to let your clients know if they receive an email from you, what campaign that email came from, if they only want to opt out of that one campaign. Of course, they're going to get the option with their opt-out to opt out of all emails from you or just that campaign. So you need to let them know what the campaign name is so that they can opt out. Making it available to the whole office, yes or no? Well, that's determined by you. Are you going to allow others to use that campaign and even perhaps copy it? So it's going to go out on behalf of you or whoever is the record owner. If you're a marketing account and you're building a campaign, well, you can select, do you want it to go out just from yourself or do you want it to go out from the record owner? So the owner of the record can be the person who the marketing piece is for. Do you want to exclude weekends? Sometimes you do. You know, sometimes if you're setting up a campaign and you want it to go out every 5 days, well, make sure that you exclude weekends if you want every 5 days to be a Thursday, for instance. So think about that. Sometimes you don't want emails to go to people on the weekends. Start only once per client. You can see what it's referring to here in each one of these areas. For the most part, when you build a campaign, you're going to be able to just set it up with the default setups that come when you click on Add Campaign. Run only on an exact interval. Okay, so just look at the different warnings and the different information as you're building your campaign, depending on the type of campaign you are building and when you want it to be sent. Using the default template, yes or no? Generally speaking, you're going to keep this as yes. So the default template is just simply that same template that your marketing pieces always go out with a placeholder for your photo and all your contact information and such. Allowing others to copy the campaign, you can say yes or no. If it's got a dynamic start date, sometimes you want it to only start on a certain day. So for instance, you might say day 5 from, let's just say from maybe the funded day, something like that, or anything like that. And then if you only want that campaign to start for records that were created after a certain time, then that's what you'll use that area for. So you click on the Add Campaign button, and once that campaign is built, then you have to remember what group did you build or put that campaign into. So I know that that was a funded campaign. So Keeping in Touch with You is the campaign name. So in order to build the email steps, then I simply have to go back in to that campaign and click on Add New Step. Is it going to be an email? Is it going to be, word gen, push notification, SMS? There's a lot of different options for you to select here. So if you're going to create a task for yourself, then that's what that would be. And again, generally your marketing is going to be by email. So it's for the client, not for a listing agent or for myself. Subject, step name. Hoping you are well and enjoying your mortgage. All right. So you don't need to change the template because, again, you set that up to where it's going to go out on your default template, although you may have said no, and if that's the case, then you want to find the appropriate template to use. Now just go ahead and type in the text, remembering you can find a meta tag for your client's first name. Let's find borrower first name. And then you can put a salutation ahead of it, like hello, hello client. And put a comma there at the end, and then of course just type it like you would a regular email. So really what you're setting up here is an email that will be going out time and time and time again. So no cost, it is an email already because I selected that previously. If I wanted to add an attachment, I could, remembering to put the little check box here, check mark in the box, because you want it to be sent out automatically. If you don't check mark that, what's going to happen is even if your safe mode is off, then this email will simply hold in the pending campaigns area. So do remember to put that check mark so it can send automatically. And then the interval, generally your first email is going to be on day 1, but not necessarily, but think about that too. Okay, so you can add additional steps and make this a drip campaign. In fact, it can go for as long as you want. You might want to drip on them for 5 years, so just keep adding steps and adding steps and adding steps. So it's pretty simple to do. Now I want to familiarize you with the content exchange. When you click on the content exchange, you're going to come in and you're going to find that there's a lot of campaigns in here that maybe you already have in your campaign library, or maybe you want to add. So if you wanted to add the President's Day campaign, first you can preview it, then click on the Add to My Bntouch after you preview. So you see that this is set up to where it goes out on specific dates. So this date has already passed for this year, so this would be the first email that goes out in this campaign, and you can preview that, and you'll see what it will look like. So if you just simply add it to your Bntouch, then it's going to ask you to set up the automated rules if you want to. If you'd rather not set an automated rule for it, just click No, I'll manually start the campaign. So after you add it, then it's in your Bntouch. Okay? Now, let's talk about the Market Control Center. Some companies elect to have a Market Control Center, which is what will be the default when the loan officers click on their Marketing tab. So when they go to the Market Control Center, they're going to be able to see all the campaigns that are available. They're going to see if they're set up with any automated rules, and they can say, you know, honestly, I really don't like this campaign. I think I'm just going to disable it. So by them disabling that campaign, clicking on the little green arrow, you can see now it's been changed over to where that campaign isn't even going to be when they click on their campaigns tab in that area any longer. So I'm going to enable that back, and what I also want to show you is that you can have those email steps simply turned off. So say for instance you liked the the introduction, but you don't want this email that is a self-reminder to come to you, so that you can simply disable. Makes it easy. Then you don't even have to worry about that step coming to you anymore. So that's a really cool and easy way to set your campaigns up and give the loan officers some ability to say, hey, you know, I don't even like that step, or I don't want that step to be emailing me. So you can use the Market Control Center for that reason. So Market Control Center is a great tool. Why would the loan officers want to use it? Well, it makes it a little bit easier for them as opposed to trying to figure things out with this tab, you know, the Campaigns tab. Plus, they can't disable any of the campaigns or enable them if those features have been turned off for those loan officers. So we talked about how to disable and enable steps and campaigns, how to preview. Again, you'll go into the campaign and simply click on the name of that step, and you'll see what it looks like as a preview. And then how to copy. If somebody wants to, what they can do, and if you give them the opportunity to do this, and I'm going to just click on the Market Control Center tab real quick, but then come back to my Campaigns tab. Say, for instance, they don't have edit rights. They don't have this little pencil, and they don't have the ability to delete the campaign, but they want to set it up, and you'll allow them the option to take that campaign and copy it. So if they do that, they put a check mark here and go over here and click the Copy Campaign button, then what happens is when I scroll down, I'm going to see now within that campaign group, this campaign which now says Copy they will then have edit rights, whereas they wouldn't have had an edit right perhaps on the pre-existing campaign. So then they can come in and they can make any changes to the settings of that campaign name. Cancel that because I don't want to change anything about that. But then they can also, well, let me go back into that and let me show you. I'm going to go into the little pencil. They would want to come in here and change the name. They don't want to have the word copy in that, so they can put their own name. Bonnie's Bntouch new lead campaign, or you can even remove the Bntouch if you wish. So you can make any changes that you want to that. Just update that. And then when you go back in, of course, they have edit rights too to editing the particular steps of the campaign. So they can delete a step if they don't want it. They can turn it off, cancel it, delete that step. And then they don't have to go into the Market Control Center and enable or disable. So that's how they can copy and create their own campaigns. Again, that's all has to do with whether or not the admin has set up those rights for the different users. So I think that covers pretty much the marketing basics for today for Bntouch, and we hope that you've gotten something out of it. I'm sure that you have. Just, every time you get a chance to do a little bit more learning is an opportunity to understand Bntouch better, and so that's why we're here. So again, thanks for being our client. We're happy to be in touch with you. Have a great day.